Hey folks, welcome back. My name is Krishna. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some strategies you can use to draw robots. And this can also help you when you're trying to draw humans. And I'm going to specifically focus on some of the principal techniques that I use to draw robots in dynamic poses. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our handy dandy trapezoidal shape. And if I fill this in, we have essentially a torso. And if I make another trapezoidal shape, I have the pelvis. And what I can do with this information is I can realize that this is not just simply a flat shape, but it has some perspective. So you can see that I've got a box that looks like this, and I've got another box here that represents the pelvis, and I've got the bottom part, like so. So I've got the torso, I've got the pelvis, and we can use these two boxes to go ahead and construct the robot that we're trying to create. So just to give you a quick overview, I can draw some legs. I've got the feet here. And then we have another set of kneecaps over here. Maybe we've got some feet. So you can kind of see where we're going with this. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can draw this trapezoidal shape from different angles. So that way we can have a worm's eye view, or we could have a bird's eye view. This is kind of a, you're looking straight at the robot. But if I wanted to have a robot that was maybe coming towards the viewer, I'll create a trapezoidal shape like so. And then I'll make the other trapezoidal shape just a little bit smaller, like so. And then I'll draw a box like this. So now we have the chest. It's much closer to the viewer. Then we have the torso, which is much further away from the viewer. And we can connect those by any number of means. But if I draw the legs, now it looks like this robot has almost this foreshortened look where the robot is actually coming towards the viewer. You can see where we're going with this. And then you can also use that trapezoidal shape as a way of drawing arms. So let me go ahead and demonstrate on this specific robot right here. So we can draw a trapezoidal shape that represents the upper arm. We can draw a trapezoidal shape that represents the lower arm. We can fill that in. And this will be really helpful when it comes to actually constructing the trapezoidal shapes that give us our boxes. Now, with these boxes, they're basically in perspective. So I'm calling them trapezoids, but they're really cubes, but they look like trapezoidal shapes. And so I've got maybe a little joint there, and then I've got a hand, and then I can repeat that procedure here for even using the trapezoidal shape for things like the fist. Essentially have two trapezoidal shapes. I have the lower arm, and then I have the upper arm, which is going to be a little bit hidden from view. And so now you can draw the entire arm. So this is going to be the lower arm. The upper arm might overlap a little bit, and that's okay. You can always clean that up with the lasso tool. And then I've got the fist. These kind of bend in a little bit. There we go. We've got a robot that's actually coming out towards us. And, you know, keeping in mind those boxes, they can be useful for placement guides, especially when you're trying to figure out something that's more complicated, like a foreshortened pose. Let's do one more. Let's go ahead and really exaggerate those proportions. So I can actually have a trapezoidal shape that looks something like this. And then I'll have another trapezoidal shape that is much smaller. And I'm going to make the trapezoidal shape at a little bit of an angle. Fill that in. Draw my boxes. Can make a connector. Maybe this robot has a small head and it's got really stout legs. Looks like one leg is a little bit longer than the other. No problem, we'll give him some quick surgery. If you're curious about drawing legs and feet, I have some videos, and essentially I call it the drumstick method, where you can imagine this is like a chicken wing or a turkey leg. It's this shape that you see a lot in arms, particularly arms that are developed or legs that are developed. You have this drumstick-like shape. Basically you have a straight line, a curved line, and another straight line. So if you're interested in that, check out those videos. So we've got an upper arm here. Maybe he's throwing up the peace sign. And then we have a fist. Again, I'm not going into too much detail, but if you stick around to the end of this video, I'll actually create a robot from start to finish. It'll be on a time lapse, so you can see how I proceed from there. So the other details that come in, like you can always come back in and carve out shapes. For example, I'm carving out this specific shape here, and then I can subtract pieces that I don't need. So don't feel like you're beholden to using that entire trapezoidal shape. You can always come back in and you can add modifications to it. So you'll notice that in these poses here, I'm not really spending a lot of time, drawing details. I'm just figuring out the mechanics of where the body is, where the legs should come out from, etc. And then the details come in after the fact. So stick around. I'll do a time-lapse video. As always, thanks for watching the videos. I really appreciate all of your support. Let me know what you'd like to see in a future video. Just kind of making this stuff up as I go along, and hopefully it's going to be relevant. So thanks for watching. Stick around, and time-lapse begins now.